Okay, I have been relegated to the basement. I am having a bunch of construction work going on inside and outside my house, so there is nowhere that is safe to record a video. So I apologize if you hear drills and things, but let's be honest, this is real life. There's never a convenient time for anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit record and share anyways. So I wanted to do just a quick add-on to the model week discussion. And like, can we talk about how I feel like there's glorious beams of light coming down on me today? But I wanted to share kind of a quick tip when it comes to model weeks that I didn't discuss in the previous videos. And something that we encourage when you're building your model week, and I did not do this, and I wish I would have. This is something that we started doing for some advisors, and I don't even remember where it came from, but the need for like what happens, Libby, if we have a need pop up that we weren't anticipating, like a client needs to come in and sign paperwork, or somebody dies and we have to squeeze them in, or just naturally things will happen inside of a meeting and things need to flow over and we need a follow-up meeting. What happens if we're booking months in advance and we don't have that grace and space in the schedule? How do we modify in order to make that happen without it totally blowing up and throwing everything completely off? So the answer is VIP time slots. So you can call them whatever you want, but something that you can do inside of your model week is have a couple of appointment time slots that are literally only for these more like unique emergency situations or prospect appointments. So in our calendar, in one of the previous iterations, I was still working evenings and I had only slots for it was only to be a prospect if I was going to work in the evenings. And so, same thing, you might have a slot or two built into your week to accommodate prospects or what we would call these VIP last minute emergency meetings. So, maybe you traditionally run 7 appointments a week and perhaps you keep a eighth and ninth slot in just in case one of these emergencies pops up. And maybe that eighth or ninth slot is on a Friday morning or on a Thursday afternoon or a time that you normally would do another activity. So if the time slot fills, you have time, space, and capacity for it. And perhaps there's some prep time ahead of it to allow for that. And then if the times aren't filled, then you use them for other things. Maybe it's CEO activities, working on the business. Maybe this is part of like your education time. um, you obviously, like if a client cancels, it's never like, oh my gosh, there's nothing that I could work on or possibly do right now. Like I have nothing on my to-do list. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for my next appointment to show up. Said no advisor ever. So there's always something to fill the time with, but you could plan kind of these alternate slots on your model week where it's a VIP week, or I'm sorry, a VIP time slot or CEO time. Now, also, you need to have CEO time that's protected, or maybe this is time to work on the process, or maybe it's VIP time slash education. So if it doesn't fill, or maybe it's buffer, maybe it's callback, maybe you leave it in there as time to be awesome. We used to joke that we had awesome time on our schedule where there was a half hour where it was just to do something nice for somebody, just to be awesome, to deliver extra awesome customer service, to maybe make a phone call to one of your top 10 clients. Like, I'm sure you can figure out how to fill that time should it not fill. However, this is a great way of saying, oh, Libby has some sort of what we hold back for our VIPs, time slots available on Thursday, so making available times, and clients will of course be like, oh, I'm a VIP, well, look at me. And if it's really, really important to them, they'll make it work too. So obviously you have to still be flexible. And I think I might have said this in the video, but if I didn't, the goal was to be 80% on my model week. There was never, ever going to be 100% adherence week over week over week. Now, the weeks that I did like get it spot on were definitely the best weeks from an overwhelm standpoint, from a getting stuff done standpoint. However, 80% is a really good goal. So, yeah, you might have to modify and switch around. If a client's like, hey, I just won the lottery and I have $10 million to invest, and you're like, I'm so sorry, the only available appointment I have is Thursday at 2 p.m. And they can't do it because they're picking up their, that giant check from the lotto office. Okay, maybe flex your schedule, right? We want to be realistic, but at the same time, knowing and having your team hold sacred those spots and not book normal client strategy sessions, reviews, whatever you want to call them, on those times has been really, really helpful. And maybe that's even part of your weekly meeting count. Like you say, I run 7 appointments. I can run 7 appointments really, really well. Well, maybe you have 6 standard appointments and this one extra time slot. So we have a couple advisors who have been doing this practice for years, and they've been tracking how many of those time slots were actually filled. And they said it's somewhere between, depending on the advisor, somewhere between 70 and 80% of their VIP time slots do fill. So they end up, using them a lot for business, for trickle, for whatever that needs to happen for your clients. So I would plan that into your kind of overall capacity from a here's what I can handle from an appointment standpoint. Anyways, I hope this information about VIP time slots was helpful. Thanks for dealing with me. This is my boys' hangout room. So I hope you enjoyed the change of scenery.